in Chinese. How about that? Now this is a reference chart. The 12 animals corresponds to 12-year cycle of the lunar calendar year. Depends on which year of your birth year. That's how you find out your zodiac sign. I am a bunny or rabbit. I'm born in one of these years. I'm not going to tell you which year, but I was a rabbit. I'm a rabbit. All right. So while we're waiting, let's start to do this exercise. What is your zodiac sign? For everyone that is first time coming over here, welcome. And for everyone that's the second time, so glad you're here again to get today with me. So last time we learned about the origin of Chinese characters. We also learned a little about your name. Today, we're going to talk about some fun Chinese idiom stories.
张欣
琪，
可以坐这儿。
那个张老师张佩琪 do you mind just listen to the class first?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't, the 3 tutors all have conflicts today. None of them can make it today. So I don't have an actual tutor for you now, other than me and Miss. So we'll be doing the tutoring at the end, okay?
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Okay.
When should I begin now?
11:40, between 11:45 and 12.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Chinese idioms is a very essential part of Chinese language. For Chinese learners, if you can properly use these 4 character-based phrases, it's a big milestone. Even in China, the native speaker, being able to use out of more than 5,000 Chinese idioms properly, it usually reflects that you're a well-educated person. So I think it's very fun to learn Chinese idioms. So I'm going to skip this now. Promise there will be a bonus question at the end. So in Chinese, the Chinese idiom 2 words is 成语. They actually each have a separate meaning. 成 means already made, already formed. 语 is literally language. Chinese is a type of language, right? So 成语 literally means made words, already framed words. Now, a lot of these Chinese idioms come from ancient Chinese literature and histories. Some of them has long, very ancient stories behind it, and some of them come in myths, come from fables, just like even English, like some of the other languages, Latin. So today, one more thing. Do you know how many Chinese idioms are there? Now, different sources maybe say differently, but at least there are 5,000. Some places, some of the literature said we have up to 20,000. Although a lot of them are not commonly used anymore, 5,000 is probably the milestone. If you master about 5,000 Chinese idioms, you are really well educated. You're really, really expert in Chinese. I don't even know I know all 5,000 of them at this point. Now, there's a practical reason that being a master these Chinese idioms. Let's take an example. What did you see in this picture? A lot of people. Very crowded. Right. People are shoulders to shoulders, head to head, and then they can barely walk, right? So we use a lot of phrases to describe what we see here. And we can use 4 words to say that. 人山人海. This is mountain. This is sea. Basically, it just means this is the pronunciation. 人山人海. So just use 4 words. We describe the situation. It's a very crowded place. And people joke that it's people, mountain, people, sea. Basically, it's just, like a mountain of people, a huge crowd of people that like an ocean. So did you see that there's also practical reason to use some 4 phrasal characters, that the 4 character has a lot of meaning behind it. Now today, I picked six Chinese idioms. And they all have a common features in it, is that they have an animal name in it. And then another thing is, they all have a fun story behind it. Not every Chinese idioms have a fun story behind it. This one, I don't think there is one. There may be, but I have never found it anywhere. So, I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's start with first. Mama, right? What we just talked about is your Robert's Chinese zodiac. Ma. So, what's the story? In the long time ago, there was an artist. Come in, please. Yeah, welcome back. Do you want? Yes. Sit there, please. Thank you. Where was I? Long time ago. Right. Long time ago. There was an artist. He's a really good artist. He's really good at drawing animals, but he's a little careless. One day, he took out his nice paper and brushes. Asian Chinese use brushes. He started drawing a very nice tiger head. And he's almost done. He's the point of, drawing these eyes and, the prints on the face. And then the servant comes and say, you have a very good friend visiting you. The friend come over here and say, I need urgently a very nice painting of a horse for my dad's birthday. It's tomorrow. You gotta get it done for me. And this artist, he's like, I wanted to go out and drink tonight. Now I have to finish this drawing. Instead of taking another nice piece of paper and started drawing a horse, he's like, I'm just gonna finish where I was. And he drew the horse's face with the tiger's head. And then he has 2 sons. One of the sons come and say, Dad, what is that? And he was still drawing the horse's body. He's like, oh, it's a horse. Son said, okay, it's a horse. And then the younger one comes over and says, Dad, what are you drawing? He just finished. You look at his painting. Look at the head. It's a tiger. How great is the tiger's head? And the son said, okay, yeah, it's a tiger. So then the 2 sons go out. One saw a tiger. But unfortunately, that the son saw the picture and was told it's a horse. He saw it's a horse. He's like, I'm going to ride the horse. No, remember, that's a tiger. What happened? He was attacked by the tiger terribly. And then the other son went to a farm. Well, actually went to his friend's barn. And he saw a horse. And he's like, oh, I remember. My dad just said, this is a tiger. Tiger is dangerous. He took out his arrows and bones and then killed the horse. Unfortunately, that's a very expensive stallion. A very expensive horse. It's a terrible, terrible mistake. So afterwards, this gentleman, this painter, was often referred as Mr. Ma Hu. So guess what the meaning is? Someone is always does things careless. And then later on, it also derived a second meaning. It also means a situation and some actions are mediocre, just so-so, not so great, not perfect, not good. So there's can be meaning can have 2 meanings. Now, when can we use this phrase? Ma ma hu hu. Now, before we do that, can you Learn how to say it. Repeat after me. 马马虎虎. One more time. 马马虎虎. Now here comes the quiz. You come back home from an audition. You don't feel it went really well. Your mom said, how did it go? How did it go? What do you say? 马马虎虎. Not so great. Not what I had hoped for. Alright? Sounds good? Alright, that's the first one. 马马虎虎. Now the next one. Again, it's about the drawing. And what about the drawing? This time is not an artist. Again, long time ago, there was a nobleman. He hosted a worship ceremony for his ancestors. And then it's a lot of work. He hired a group of servants. And after the successful ceremony, he decided to, show some gestures and thank his servants. So he found a very well-preserved wine. There's only one jar. He gave it to the servant and say, go ahead, enjoy that. That's for thanking your service today. But there's only one jar of wine. Who's going to have it? Everybody wants it. So then someone suggested, let's all take out a piece of paper and draw a snake. Whoever finished drawing the first will get the wine. And then there's the servant. He always does things very fast. And he's very good at drawing too. He finished drawing his snake. And he grabbed the wine. And just before he's going to drink, and he looked around and he's like, oh, everybody else is still busy drawing. You're so slow. And then he looked at his painting. Oh, I'm so good. You know what? I can add feet to my snake and still beats everyone. And he put down the wine and started to add the feet to the snake he's already done. Just when he finished the last touch, the other servant finished his drawing. He brought the wine and going to drink. He said, no, it's fine. I finished the first. And everybody looked at his drawing and said, has anyone even seen a snake with feet? This is silly. You're not drawing a snake. You're drawing, we don't know what it is. He lost. He lost and he was laughed at by everyone. So, there comes this word. The four character phrases for this story. Now repeat after me. 画蛇天足画蛇天足. So in the literary way, 画 drawing, 蛇 is the snake, 天 is to add something, 足 feet. Alright? So what's the literal meaning? Adding life to a drawing of a snake. What the actual meaning is, you're adding some unnecessary extra to the things already done, and then ruining the thing. So here's an example. Your mom made a cake, and all the decorations are done, everything. And you're like, I'm going to add something, my own creation. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but whatever you add, it doesn't match with the theme of the cake. And not only that, the cake got smashed by whatever you added to it. And your mom will come and say, this is a perfect cake. Why do you 画蛇添足? Do we want it to 画蛇添足? Well, I will say, in the ancient times, people do not want you to try extra. But sometimes it's debatable. Sometimes taking a little bit of risk and try something, you may end up in a good result. You cannot always control that. So I'm a little hesitant to say it's always bad to try that act. We do not want it to end up in a situation like this, 画蛇添足. But I would still encourage you to take a little bit of risk and try something. Alright? That doesn't mean don't try anything. You don't want to ruin things. Take a little bit of wrist and try things. Just try not to end up 画蛇添足. 画蛇添足. Perfect. Very good. All right, let's move on. We've talked about 2 terrible drawing cases. And this one is a good one, actually. Again, long time ago, there was a very famous scholar and painter. He's very good at drawing. Do you know what this is? Dragon. Dragon is a very prominent figure in the Chinese culture. He's very good at drawing dragons. Once he was invited to the emperor's temple to draw dragons. He drew 4 dragons on the wall. Everybody looked at him. Wow! They look so real, so vivid. And wait a minute. None of them have eyes in it. Well, I guess this one is finished. But none of them had eyes in it. And then people look at him and this question they had, why the dragon does not have the eyes? Why don't you draw their eyes? They look, missing something. Even though they look great, but they look like they're blind. And this artist said, oh, I can't draw them right now. If I add the eyes, add the pupils to their eyes, they will become real. And they will coming out of the drawings and fly away. The emperor won't be able to see it. And nobody believed him. And then soon come the ceremony, the emperor's fair. And the artist waited with the brushes in his hand and say, now it's time. Now we're ready. And he added the pupils to the dragon's eye socket. Before everybody knew it. It's real. They become so real, so live. They fly out of the pictures and they soar into the sky. Everyone was stunned. What he said is real. That little final touch made the drawing actually live. Okay, so now, is this a real story? No, it's not a real story. I think it sounds like very real, but it's not a real story. However, this gives us a perfect Chinese idioms called, now, quiz. Who still remember this first character? It appeared in the last one.
Wasn't it like adding something?
It's,
Oh, it was drawing.
yes, exactly. Who knows how to say it?
Wow.
Hua. Very good. Hua. Yes. For those of you who knows how to say Chinese, just speak louder for everyone, okay? Hua. Now this time is not hua she. She is a snake. This time is hua long. Long. Hua long. Now hua long. Added the eyeballs. The eyeballs happens to be a little dots in here, right? Dian. Dian. Jing. Jing is eyes. Yan jing. Eyes. So basically it means I draw it. Learning is that I added the eyes to the painted the dragons and really bring the life to the dragons. Now repeat after me. 画龙，点睛，画龙点睛。Very good. So this is a word you could use to praise someone, to describe something that was excellent finishing touches. And they usually could mean, often be used, to praise a creative work, but sometimes it could be, even used for praise, it gives recognition for some actions. Now I'm going to give you an example here. And this time it's not about drawing, it's such as someone write an article. And then you read it, and then by the end of the last sentence, and you're like, wow, this is very well written. The last paragraph of this article is really could sing this, right? All right, so let's take a quick pause here and just go through this real quick. We learned 3. The quiz is going to come back later. 马马虎虎. The first one, they're used to describe someone being careless or something is just so-so. Second one, 画蛇添足. Ruining something by adding some unnecessary extras. The third one, 画龙点睛. Excellent finishing touches. Bring life to some artistic work. All right, let's move on. We have 3 more. The next one involves, what is this? It's a cow. The Chinese for cow is new. I don't know, any of you has a Chinese zodiac new? You are? Okay, we have 2 cows here. No, I'm sorry. All right, so new. Well, this is another story about an artist, except that this time it's a musician. It's again, long time ago, but now this time it actually has a exact, a very, we know what the years are. So it's from the Chu dynasty, Chu. And there's a musician, his name is Gou Mingyi. He's very good at playing gu qin, the Chinese Asian 7-stringed zither. And he's very well respected in the country. And one day he was taking a vacation in the suburbs. He's taking his zither and whisk and walking around in the beautiful countryside. And he saw a cow. And he's a gentleman, he's an artist. And he looked at the cow and he was expecting some interactions, but the cow was just minding his own business and eating the grass. He's like, my music was so beloved by everyone in this country. I'm going to play to this cow and hopefully he can enjoy it too. So he sat down and he started playing. And the cow was still just eating the grass and occasionally does this sound. He's a little frustrated. He said, okay, maybe this is not the best song for him. I'm going to add a little bit of melody to it and make it a little bit more happy song. Maybe that'll get his attention. And he changed to another song. And the cow still acts like he's not even there. He's like eating his grass and looking the other ways, and then sometimes makes this sound. This artist is very, very frustrated. And then there's a farmer come by. And he stopped this farmer and say, do you like my music? The farmer said, yes. I do not usually get the chances to hear it, and thank you. And he said, but why the cow wasn't paying any attention? The farmer looked at him and said, I don't think he can understand human music, human language to start with. I was very frustrated. But he finally realized that you're not going to get anywhere preaching to deaf ears. Basically it means he finally realized that he's trying to preach something, teach something to the wrong audiences. The cow would never be able to understand that, right? So we often use this to describe a situation that you say something and the audience is just not getting it. You're not on the same page. No matter what you try, you're not going to be able to convey what you're trying to say. And this is when we use this Chinese idiom. Repeat after me. 对牛， 弹琴，
弹琴，
对牛弹琴。
对牛弹琴。
Very good. Let's use in a real life example. Your mom, you come home and your mom said a lot of things about this and that, and you're the word coming from here and it gets out from there, and your mom is frustrated. Your mom said, "After all I've said, you heard nothing. Am I?
对牛弹琴。
Am I 对牛弹琴?" And guess what you can do? You can do this. Moo. How about that? I didn't say that. All right, next one. We talked a lot about artists. This one is about a farmer. It's about a farmer. And this is remember, this is my Chinese zodiac. 兔子. It's also yours, right? 兔. It's a rabbit. It's a story about a farmer, not about a rabbit. So here's how the story goes. There's a farmer. He has been working very hard on planting his seeds, harvest crops, but he's, living a good life. He just very hard work. Sometimes he's tired, and he's so exhausted. One day, he come back from the field, and he passed a tree where there's the other tree was cut down, and there's a big tree stump right there. And right in front of his eye, he saw a bunny, a hare, and run across. I guess either the bunny couldn't see things well, or in a hurry, fled from something. He bumped into the tree stump and broke her neck. Unfortunately, the poor bunny was killed by the tree stump. Well, the bunny's already killed, and the farmer took it home. He cooked the bunny. He made a bunny soup. He's like, wow, I don't have to work hard. I can just wait by the tree stump and for the bunnies to come to my meal. All right, I'm not going to go to the field tomorrow anymore. There's so much sun, and I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sweaty all the time. It's so much better. I'm just going to wait under this tree with shades. So he waited there. He waited and waited and waited. Is there a bunny come by again?
No.
Mm-mm. He waited for a day. He waited for a week. He waited for a month. Before we know it, the fall is coming. Everyone else has harvested their crops, but his crops are all dead. He hasn't mined them for over a month. He got no food for the coming winter season. And that's when he realized, is it a good idea to do this? What is this? Repeat after me. 守株待兔. One more time. 守株待兔. All right. Let's see one by one each word means. 守 basically means just guard something. Just wait there and guard something. He's waiting by the tree stump. He's waiting for there's a unlucky bunny to run into the stump again. 守 猪. Now this character is printed in a little different way, but I have a board. There's one Chinese character I think most of you probably know if you already learned Chinese. Mu means tree. Most of the words have something to do with trees. Has this on the left side. So 株 basically is also a way to describe a tree. Guard the tree. 待 means wait. Usually we add another character to the front, say 等待. 等待. It means wait. Wait for the 兔. 守株待兔. So this describes someone who hopes to get a fruit of success want to be 守株待兔. All right, so there goes one more story about another animal. This one is a loud one. Now let's see what this word is. Quite easy to say. Wa. Wa. Usually there's another word in front of it to describe the animal. 青蛙. What is a 青蛙?
Frog.
Yes. 青蛙 is a frog. So apparently this is a story about a frog. What about the frog? Well,
There's like a turtle.
long. Well, maybe it's not. Oh, I just like to use it. There's just a frog. I don't know when did he live. But he's been living in the well for a long time, for sure. And he lived very happily. He lives in the bottom of the well, and all he sees is the sky this big. That's everything he sees. But he's very happy. And one day, he's singing his own song at the bottom of the well, and he's like, I'm the king of the world. I control everything, and I live my happiest life. And just at this time, and there's a turtle from the sea walk by. And the turtle peeked his head and looked at the frog and said, do you even know how big is the world? And the frog said, of course I know, it's this big. That's all he can see. And the turtle said, you need to come out. I'll tell you about the sea. The sea is endless, so big. There are millions and millions of animals, sea animals, my friend. And it comes across so long, you can even see the end. This is not the world. The frog looked at him and the frog couldn't believe it. It's something very hard for him to grasp. He's been living in the well so long. He doesn't see anything go beyond the well. And that limits his vision. That limits his understanding about the world around him. This comes the Chinese idioms to describe a narrow-minded person who has very limited experience and very limited vision about things. All right, repeat after me. 井底之蛙. Very good. 井 is the well, 底 is the bottom. 之 is, it's just one of the transition words we use here. It could mean the 井底之蛙. 井底之蛙. So none of us want to be the 井底之蛙. We wanted to travel more, read more, to know more things beyond what can see immediately.
Yeah, how is the frog supposed to get out of the well?
How's what?
How's the frog supposed to get out of the well? Frogs are good jumpers.
But that is a really good question. It's not his fault that he's been living the well forever, right? This is where we use the phrase and try to tell people, try not to be the well at the frog at the bottom of the well. But I agree. Sometimes they don't have a choice, but they can try, right? We can try. Okay, very good. So we went through all the 6 Chinese idiom stories. Now here comes the question. We talked about actually 7 animals. 6 Chinese idiom phrases. There's 7 animals involved. There is one not in this group. Which one is not?
The frog?
Very good. The frog is not. There are so many Chinese idiom stories. It's about one of these 12 animals in the Chinese zodiac group. The frog is not. I don't know why frog is not. There are many animals that's not in there. If you're interested, go online, Google, and find out the stories behind the Chinese zodiac. Why the rat is the number 1, the ox is right after, and why these 12 animals were chosen. And that's not what I'm going to cover today, but you can Google and find about that. Maybe next time you can tell me what's the story behind Chinese zodiac. a little bit and use what we learned. Let's do a game. So what we want to do, game number 1 is, can you guess? What is this? Is we're going to have 2 groups. All right? So each group, you will divide yourself between the actor and then the guesser. Like with Heather, can you be my example? So I'm going to be the one who's acting. She's going to the one guess. So each group will get a pair of cards, and they're identical. So as an actor, you will pick one, and then trying to do motion, do actions. No, you cannot speak. Okay, you can only use your body language. And then she's going to guess which one it is. And she's also going to get a pair of cards. And because I know not all of you can speak. Now the bonus point, she's going to guess and then pick out the card, describe the situation, the phrases I'm trying to tell her. Bonus point is if you can say it in Chinese, then your team is going to add a bonus point. Any question about the game? All right, I'm going to try it, okay? So I'm going to take one. Oh, okay, I'll choose this one. So I'm going to do... Yes! All right, not so hard, right? All right, so let's do it. So this group, right from here is group number 1, and this group is group number 2. Every group has one chance. You just pick out one card. I don't think, yeah, so we'll just do one run, okay? So we need at least 2 representatives from each group to compete against each other. So who's the volunteer? Or you can all come up and try to help it with each other. Come on, Robert. Well, do you want to try it? All right, I want to make sure we have all the cards lined up. We should have 6 for each. Well, there's one card missing here. Okay.
No, this has 2 of the same color.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. All right, good. All right, so the actor's going to stand right here. And the team who's, okay, how about, so you 2 will be the one who acting on the phrases, okay? And your rest of your team members will guess, all right? If you can, remember the bonus point is you can say it in Chinese. So pick out one. If you need help with these cards, you can use. They're hard to decide. You ready? Are you decided? You can just pick it and you decide it and then you have to put it down. You cannot let your team member to see it. Now you have to act to describe that word. Go ahead.
Wait, yeah.
Mom can help too. Okay. use. So you got 5 cards to pick from. So who's going to volunteer in this group to act the phrases? So you want to do it? Does your sister want to help you? You can certainly do that. And same thing. Why don't you come over here and pick the card, but you don't want to reveal to your group which card you picked, okay? She probably needs someone to help with. Usually it's easier. Very good! Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, one more game. Let's all get up. And this group come over here, this group come over here. In the line. Just in the line. For anyone who wanted to participate. And this time is, what did she say? I'm not going to reveal. So we're going to use a couple of these phrases that I had teach everyone today, but in order to make a sentence, there are a couple of extra characters in what I'm going to say to the last person, and you're going to say, pass the word that I said to the people in the front in Chinese. And then we're going to find out what did it end up with. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah, ready? Okay, so the first one. Well, let's try an easy one. Identical for both teams, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Telephone. You say that loud afterwards?
I know, after the last person. Wait until the last person. But this first time the trial is identical for both teams, so keep it, the first person, keep it in your head and I will come to listen, okay?
It's kind of yeah.
Have you passed it? Yeah, just tell me what did you hear? What did you hear? What did you hear? You have not. Can you repeat that? Can you slow down? We need it. Alright, what about this team? What did you hear? Okay. Alright, what about this team? What did you hear?
I didn't want to go away.
Okay. Alright. So the last person, what did you hear? What did you hear, Emily? Yes.
I thought it was
Don't be mama. But this team actually won because they get at least 4 characters. Alright. That's very fun to play with you. But I think it's not a good idea to put next to they're more complicated. However, this is a fun way to learn Chinese with your friends. Just say something, say a sentence to your friend and see what does she understand from what you said. How about that? Alright, so that is the class for today. I want to thank you everyone. And I hope to see you again next time.